Hey everybody, this is Perch, and let's talk comics. This is a talk about comics. This is not talk about comics drama, comics anger, comics some dipshit doing something stupid. This is just comics. So this mail is the prompt. I think it's a good one. It says, "Hey Perch, hope you're doing well." When this letter comes across, in lieu of more doom and gloom, I wanted to ask you what is your favorite top 10 sequential art moments? It can be comics, manga, a run, a series, an individual. Okay, you made it way too broad. What are those top 10 things that made you love the art form and has kept you coming back? All right, this is way too broad a question. And honestly, how much time do you have? There's so many amazing things. I'm going to answer the question a very specific way, and maybe this is a cool topic to come back to another time. But in the spirit of BuzzFeed, if that's still a thing, we'll do a listicle YouTube video here around top 10 things. And this is in no order. So this isn't a top 10 building to the biggest moment. I'm going purely off memory. I just read the question. So I'm probably even going to miss some pretty amazing things. So right now I'm thinking about comics, manga, moments where you open up the book and it was just a panel or collection of panels or just something that conveyed an epic, amazing moment. And so when I kind of close my eyes, I'm driving, so I probably shouldn't do that. When I think about those moments, I'll give you, again, 10, no particular order. May not even be the top 10, but 10 that I definitely love. So the first I'll go off the bat is the Battle of Marineford in One Piece. Had a number of pretty epic moments. It is manga, yes. But there's a particular sequence, and it's when, I don't want to spoil it. There's a character, kind of a major mythological character, who basically does his last stand. He's been dying for a while. He's been on kind of tubes of oxygen. He's kind of near the end of his life. And he goes and does this last stand. And in a very unfair battle, he is slain. And in the manga, they have these panels, and it talks about how, in the front, I'm paraphrasing here, but basically the front of his chest, his body was horribly scarred. He had his injuries on display for everyone. But his back was clean, never a single scar, because he never turned his back on a fight. And it's that sequence and how it was drawn, how it was written, just powerful stuff. Powerful in the anime, in the manga, I think even more powerful. But this is just like nothing says, fuck bravery quite like that. So that is a big one right there for me right off the bat. Second memory of kind of sequential art that I loved, changing gears entirely, Rorschach in Watchmen, when he, finally has the big confrontation on the end, and, the villain who's basically done this plot is gotten away with it, and Dr. Manhattan is there, and basically Rorschach is going to go tell the tale, and he's killed. He's murdered in that moment, and you see the body explode and everything else. That sequence of art also tragic. You knew where it was going. It capped the character. There's a lot of moments in Watchmen that people have. I don't usually hear this one, but that final moments of Rorschach was a neat circle being completed. I love that. Love that very much. The Dark Knight Returns over to Frank Miller. The scene where he's coming back to being Batman, and he's at that point he's springing into battle and he's smiling. He doesn't feel the age, he doesn't feel the creak of the bones, and he's back doing this, and it's the joy of once again returning to superheroing. The way that is drawn, the way that is paced, and everything else, I think is another incredible moment. Again, completely shifting gears. She-Hulk, John Byrne. Doing the breaking the third wall kind of stuff, the conversations with Wheezy, the walking through panels into a different apartment, all that kind of stuff. There's so many moments. The infamous jumping jacks jump rope scene as well. But just the hey, I want to do something different, and walking kind of through a panel into another room. That's some pretty good stuff, as well as She-Hulk getting angry and climbing out of the panel. I think that's another. I can kind of picture that in my mind, and a pretty cool moment. I think this is kind of a tougher one to explain, but there's and I'm going to forget the name of it. I believe it's Wolverine, the Jungle Adventure. This is Michael Mignola. And there's a lot of different versions of Wolverine, different artists that do it. In this one, he goes up against Apocalypse in the Savage Land. And there's these scenes of him kind of hooking up with the cave woman, kind of leader of the tribe, and kind of, these moments. And there's him at peace with his tribe, him in battle, him flying away, the cave woman holding the baby that is clearly Logan's that he has birthed. And I don't know if they ever came back to that child. Did they? I don't. Did they ever? There's another kid of Wolverine out there running around. Anyway, that one had a bunch of very iconic Wolverine moments, but the way it sets up kind of the different sequences of his life, I think is really quite powerful. That's another really great one. This one's a combo of writing and art, and it's one of those cases where the tension builds. So in the Ultimates, Brian Hitch doing the work with Mark Millar, and you get to this, Captain America has been beaten up. I'll actually name two. Kind of I'll cheat and do 2 and 1 for the 6th example. There's Captain America, and you finally get him fighting kind of the alien threat, the first Ultimate series, and he points to the A on his head, and he goes, "Do you think this stands for France?" Because he's basically being called a coward. And that the way it's not the line. I mean, it's a good line, but it's Hitch's art had been growing and growing and growing in intensity all along. And finally, this feels like the pressure blowing off the pot. And it's just from a visual standpoint, kind of how it's paced and comes out is really great. The other one is I believe in Ultimates 2. And Hawkeye is trapped and tortured. His family's been killed, and he's basically, they're like, he can't give him any weapons, but he pulls out his fingernails and uses it to kill the other people in the room to escape. And the way that whole thing is paced and projected is also pretty damn cool. Back over to manga for a moment. And this is kind of very lighthearted. Rumiko Takahashi, Ranma 1/2, when Ranma and Dad are introduced to the family where they're trying to open to marry Ranma off, and they come in and it's Panda Bear and this girl, and kind of the sequence of them telling the story and then pouring the hot water, and just that the way that whole thing is paced with kind of the bemused look on their face and the people hearing the tale. That's pretty great sequential art kind of story. I love all of that. The silent issue of G.I. Joe. All art, no words. That was in the 20s, I believe. The way that is paced as well, just great, step-by-step moments that lead to this pretty incredible sequence. Again, no words, letting the art do the storytelling through the moments. Always remember those images. They definitely stand out in my mind for sure, and pretty great stuff. Down to the last 2, and now I've got all this pressure because there's a lot of really great books that I could think of where just the art is telling a really amazing story. I mean, and it's a shame because there's a lot of great artists. I think there's a lot of really great artists and really great moments and all this. I'm gonna go with for the 9th one, the Walt Simonson Ragnarok tale in Thor. You know what I'm talking about with the double page spreads and everything else. And there again is where, you're getting sequential art, you're getting them in super widescreen, big moments. And that, not only is it an epic Thor, but it's told in an epic way. It just feels like the action's blowing off the page, and it really hits home this pretty amazing kind of powerful sequence of comics and everything else. Last one. All right. And definitely, hopefully you've been listening along this and getting some of your own kind of these really cool things that stick out in your memory. And there's honestly just so many. So I want to do something I don't talk about often. And I'm trying to kind of narrow it down a little bit. I mean, what's funny is kind of the comics that you first read. And so I'll give a very, this is a lame answer because it feels like a cheat in a way. But Jack Kirby, Fantastic Four, #1, the way that the ship has crashed, the characters, the storms and Reed and Ben have their powers, and the art is slowly unfolding these abilities, which are drawn initially somewhat horrific. People disappearing, people lighting on fire, this rock monster, the body kind of oozing and stretching, and it's both fantastical and terrifying at the same time. And kind of the way this is step by step. I mean, it's one of those moments that kind of burns in your mind. And again, there's tons. There's Peter Parker discovering the burglar was the person he didn't stop. There's there's a million of classic moments for sure in there. But Craven's last hunt with Zach. There's so many great moments. So I will stop now because I could keep going. But thank you for the question. I think it's a great one, and we'll come back to it. We'll ask. I should hit this stuff more often. But now it's up to you. What is the moment, the sequence? Now, again, I'm not talking about your favorite artists. Like, I really like Ivan Rice doing Green Lantern and this one splash page. But what was the story being told? What were the sequence of images? What was really there that sold this as an epic big moment you just remembered in your mind? Those top 10 great comic moments. Let me know in the comments below. Any kind of thing you want. Oh, Zot. Why did I not put more Zot in there? Zot had all kinds of great moments. For sure. Anyway, I could keep going. I will extend this forever. Let me know in the comments below. Hey, like and subscribe, and thanks for the positivity, and thanks for listening.